Hello, this is Roland. Today I want to talk about meditation. Let me begin by reading something to you from a very beautiful little book called A Guide to True Peace. This book was published originally over 100 years ago, so now it's in the public domain. And it's a compilation of writings from three very spiritual people. Madame Jeanne Guyon, François Fénelon, and Miguel Molinos. Three very spiritual, you could call them mystical writers, spiritual writers, and very nice people too. And they wrote around 1700, okay? So it's a compilation of excerpts from their writings. Luckily we have them. So I want to read this to you. I'll begin. It is for want of inward retirement and prayer that our lives are so imperfect, and that we are neither penetrated nor warmed with the divine light of truth. Okay? I'll read it again, but first I'll comment, then I'll read it again. It says, it is for want of inward retirement. In other words, to withdraw within, to pull back, to stand back. Stand back from worldly entanglements, and also stand back from entanglements with your own imagination, your own daydreaming, and worrying, and thinking about the past, and planning for the future. Being able to stand back, okay? Mentally stand back. That's what he means, or she means. I'm guessing this quote is probably from François Fénelon, but it could be any of the three, we don't know. It's a beautiful quote. And goes on to say that that is why our lives are so imperfect. I'll comment more about that later. And that we are neither penetrated nor warmed with the divine light of truth. Okay, I'll read it once more and then we'll talk about it. It's very important. It's a beautiful quote. It is for want of inward retirement and prayer that our lives are so imperfect, and that we are neither penetrated nor warmed with the divine light of truth. Okay? And then he goes on to say, or she goes on to say, we should therefore be in the daily practice of it. In other words, the daily practice of inward retirement. The less we practice silent prayer, the less desire we have for it. For our minds being set upon outward things, we contract at last such habit that it is very hard to turn them inward. Okay? And he also says, we should therefore be in the daily practice of it, and there are none so occupied, so much occupied, so as not to be able to find a few moments of inward retirement, or withdrawing within, or meditation as I call it. First of all, it is for want of inward retirement and prayer that our lives are so imperfect. See, the human being was created to be perfect. Originally, Adam was created to be perfect, Adam and Eve. But he fell. You can read about it in the book of Genesis. It's a story that I see more and more. For 25 years, I've seen more and more and more just how true the story is, because I see it replayed in all of our lives. We all fall. We fall away from the way of intuition, and we fall to the route of intellect and ambition. And we think by gathering knowledge, we can solve all of our problems. So look around you and see everyone trying to, with knowledge and technology, and going to all the experts and so on, they think they can solve their problems. And things just keep getting worse. So Adam was ambitious, Adam was ambitious and he fell. Okay? And when he fell, he began to change. But before the fall, he was close to God's light, the light of truth, within which is the perfect pattern, see, for the soul to realize and to grow in and to become, see, perfect, and becoming more and more perfect, endlessly perfect in detail and in expanse, becoming more and more perfect. That's what we were designed for. Now, for we humans, what would perfection be? Well, it would be endless. It would be a journey of endlessly realizing. Even as God is eternal, we could live endlessly, every day realizing and discovering more about the Creator, marveling more at His handiwork, at His genius, at His love, at His greatness, at His creation. Okay? Marveling, wondering, in awe, and appreciation. Endlessly discovering more and more about Him. Everything we discover, whether it's math or science or looking at a butterfly, or we see a principle more and more deeply. Every day you can see how patience, the practice of patience, okay, is endlessly deep and endlessly restorative. See, there's no end to what we can learn, more and more, discovering more and more about God, and then having an intimate acquaintanceship with Him, discovering not only His greatness and His goodness and His handiwork, and delighting in His universe, but at the same time also realizing the process by which we are discovering, realizing that it is in His presence, in the light from God, okay, in the present. His presence in the present is what makes us be able to realize. So we realize that too. It was just an endless series of wonderful realizations. But we have fallen away from the light. We've fallen from the light into our dark imagination. And down there we juggle ideas and concepts. Down there we play around with ideas and facts and figures and formulas, and we try to juggle things around to make ourselves look good and solve the messes we've gotten into and impress other people. So we have imperfect knowledge, not perfect. See, from Him it would be perfect knowledge, just right knowledge for each moment. We would have the perfect knowledge, so we could move perfectly, say the right thing, do the right thing with perfect timing. If we lived in the light, which is perfect, then we would have access to perfect knowledge. And to the extent that we heeded that, realized it, appreciated it, and then lived it, we would become perfect through and through, all the way down to the inside of ourselves, as we would act and speak with perfect understanding. And that perfect understanding would become the Word made flesh. We would become made of that perfection, you see. But instead we have fallen away from it. You were close to it when you were a little child. That's the closest you were closest to God when you were a little child that you have ever been. See? Now you live in your imagination, thinking about what happened and what she said and what he said. Thinking about what you're going to do, what you're going to eat, where you're going to go, how you're going to try to get out of your mess, making plans and schemes, and then worrying. See? And when not doing that, then lost in imagination, in daydreaming. See? Just lost in the imagination. You ask someone sometime, you see someone sitting there kind of zoned out or spaced out, lost in some kind of thought. Ask if you could gently get their attention. Say, what were you just thinking about? They don't even know. It's how lost they are. And then we use substitutes. We use drugs and alcohol and marijuana and other things to enhance, and emotions to enhance our thoughts. And we use experience. We go out and we experience something so we can go back and think about it. See? over and over and over again, either with resentment when it didn't work out, or if we think we did well, then we think about over and over again about how great we are and how great we did. Okay? And then we also use music and video games, movies and all these entertainment to also provide food for our imagination, or just a substitute imagination someone else gives us. See, that's where you're lost, but you can't find God there. Okay, so now you don't have a choice. You don't know where your ideas come from. You try to think of something, you try to read something, or someone said something, or someone suggests something, and then you do it, and then, oh my God, it's not working out, and then you worry about it, and that's your life right now. See? It's a choiceless life. So, would you like to come back to the inner light? Now, the other thing is that this is very brilliant. This is brilliant. Whoever wrote this is right on. Okay? It says, it is for want of inward retirement and prayer that our lives are so imperfect. Do you see now that if you did learn to be still and to get back in touch with the inner light, with the perfect inner light, with the perfect wordless knowledge from the inner light, then your life then you could begin to perfect again, then you could begin to undo errors, because you would once again be living in and part of and obedient to the perfect pattern for your existence. Okay, he said that it is for want of inward retirement that we are neither penetrated nor warmed with the divine light of truth. Okay, see, a lot of people, they are capable of realizing truth to a certain extent. Even bad people. See, we all have access to the light. See, but we flee from it. Because what? It makes us feel guilty. In the light, where you begin to see what you are in contrast to what you could have been. See, we call it conscience or anxiety. But everyone has access to this light. But most people take will just very shallowly notice it and then escape from it. They won't allow it to penetrate. They won't allow it to warm their being. See, if it penetrated, if you went in a room, closed the door, sat in a chair, and became still, like with the meditation that I have, okay, then reality would begin to dawn. Okay, and when it began to dawn, you would become aware of your own wrong, your own helplessness, your own nothingness, your own falseness, and the shallowness and the futility of your existence. Okay, and unless you're ready, you wouldn't be able to bear it. See, unless you want to know the truth, you want to come clean. See, you want to know the truth and come clean just because you want to be a better person. You want to be a better mom or dad or husband or wife. And you're sick and tired of being sick and tired. You just don't want to hate. You don't want to hate anymore. You don't want to resent anymore. You don't want to live a false life anymore. See? Then you'll be able to sit still, to grit your teeth and sweat drops of blood and sit there and grit your teeth and bear the light of truth. And it would bring you to repentance. But most people never get there. And then after you sit still for it, then God takes the burden of your wrong upon himself. Okay? And then it refines into sadness, where you regret what you see about yourself. Instead of resenting it, which you always have, now you regret seeing it. And that regret is acceptable. See, it says in the Bible, a contrite heart is acceptable. God will not despise a contrite heart. That's acceptable to him. He takes the burden upon himself, and then you feel relief. You feel relief and released. The first time in your life. See, you stop trying to save yourself. Stop trying to make yourself look right. See, just let your hair down and let go and let God. And bear the little bit of pain of seeing your own wrong. And then, see, then you can wipe the tears from your eyes and then joy will return. The sadness will become relief, release. And then joy returns, you see? Well, okay. So now you see that most people, they live very shallow, they shallowly know the truth. See? They know enough truth where they might be able to write about it or speak about it. Even religious people or ministers or professors or experts or writers or, see people, teachers, parents who give speeches, give speeches about it. Why you should do this and that and not do this and that. Well, they know a little bit about the truth. See, but very shallow. But they never allow it to penetrate and to warm them. See? That's what you need. You need to be able, and for it to penetrate and to warm you. That's right. God's light warms you. You need to be able to sit still. It says in the Bible, in the Old Testament, it says, "Be still and know that I am God." Okay? Be still and know that I am God. So if you could become still, okay, then you would know that God is God. And when it says, the word know means to realize, to become acquainted with, to become intimate with. See? With God. To know Him deeply and personally and closely. Okay? Well, that's why you need the meditation. I was thinking earlier, this is a very beautiful little passage, isn't it? I was thinking earlier that people today are more distracted than ever before. Not only just texting, which is obvious, or checking emails or that sort of thing, but they're just distracted, lost in their mind. People drive right past the exit that they should have taken on a freeway. They drive right past it. They're so lost in daydreaming, in the thought stream. But you know what? People are beginning to realize that they're lost in the thought stream. So there's an upside to all of our distractions and our video games and our iPhones and our texting, our entertainment and our music, and so on. There's an upside to it, and the upside is that we become so lost. We begin to actually see that we are. What was I doing? What was I thinking? I have no idea. I was driving down the freeway. 10 minutes went by. Now, I don't know where I'm at. And I went past the exit. People are beginning to realize it. They go out and do things, and then they can't even remember what they did. See? So there's an upside to it, and that is people are beginning to see just how lost in their thought stream that they are. And then they realize that that's not good. They're not totally there. They're not fully there. And so they start to look for how to get out of that thought stream, back to reality, back to the present, where the birds are singing, where God is, where you can discover God. And so that's why my meditation could be so helpful. I have a beautiful meditation. I think it's 3 parts or 4 parts. I don't remember. And it has a couple of books with it. It's just beautiful. E-books, e-books. So you download the meditation and get the e-books. Download them all. And I'm asking a suggested donation, I think, of $10. Okay? But I don't even talk about that very often. Okay? Because the one that I talk about all the time is my free one. The easy meditation. It's free. Okay? Or the prayer meditation. See, true prayer is actually, in true prayer, you become close to God. See? And you're close to God. And you don't even have to say anything. It says in the Bible, God knows what you need before you even ask. You don't even have to say anything. You just be there. See, that's true prayer. That's why Paul said that we should pray unceasingly. That's what he meant. He didn't mean mumbling words all the time. What he meant was to be in the presence, practicing the presence of God. Didn't Brother Lawrence, wasn't that the title of his book, Practicing the Presence? See? All right. So now you got the idea. You need to get close to the light, and you do that by wanting to, being willing to, and with the help of my meditation, my free meditation. I keep emphasizing that. See, this is a labor of love for me. There's nothing in it for me. I spend a lot of money making my radio programs and having internet space and everything. Then I get very, 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 very little back. Sometimes I get nothing back. Okay? So it's a labor of love. Okay? So I'm not in it for the money. It's just I was helped, and so I'm trying to help others. So the meditation is free. You can get it at sheddingshackles.com. Okay? And there it is. So I encourage you to get the meditation. And the book, incidentally, A Guide to True Peace, I actually updated it and published it as A Guide to True Peace Revisited, with an introduction by me, a very nice introduction, if you don't mind my saying so. So it's an updated version with, modern language, easy to understand. This is it, The Guide to True Peace. It's available at Amazon. In other words, you can go to my website, sheddingshackles.com, and click on books or ebooks or whatever, and there it is. You can get it as a quality paperback, okay? And it's a small book, so you can have it in your handbag or in your computer case or whatever. And it's also available as an ebook for a very modest amount, I think a couple of dollars or something. And you can also get it from me. You write to me and say you'd like to make a small donation of any amount, and then I'll send it to you as an ebook by email, okay, as an attachment to an email. So the resources are there. Most of them are free, okay? Especially the meditation is there. So I encourage you to take advantage, and hope you enjoyed this little lecture.